Hello and welcome to Head to Head on UA TV. Joining us in the studio is Chernyshov. He is the Deputy Justice Minister in Ukraine. Minister, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah. Well.
So my first question to you today is about the reform happening in Ukraine's prison service. Can you tell us firstly a bit about the international cooperation and funding that you're receiving to help you reform this prison service?
Yeah, thank you for the question. And first of all, I want to say that the reform started previous year, and we wait for a long way to reform the penitentiary system of Ukraine. And of course, we are very glad to our cooperation with international funds, and also I can say that the very big help from the government of Canada.
They're a big contributor.
Yeah, the big contributor, and we started to work with them 7 years ago, and it was work in the aim of building the system of probation in Ukraine. And previous week we opened with the ambassador of Canada, the Center of Juvenile Probation in Kiev, and it was the good presentation of this event. And I think it's a very good experience to open such centers of probation, also juvenile probation in Ukraine.
And what is the reason for this? Now, why does Canada actually fund a lot of these programs?
Maybe because they want to help the Ukraine, because of a lot of ethnic Ukrainians live in Canada, and because of it, I think.
Yeah, and why are there quite a lot of reforms happening now? I mean, you took on your job in October last year, and a lot has been happening since then. So why now? What's so important about reforming the judicial system now?
Just we had to start it, because from the former Soviet Union, it didn't start. And because of it, we had to start it.
But what sort of reforms are you talking about? Can you give an example, perhaps a case of how something is reforming?
Of course. First of all, we have to change the vision of the society for the penitentiary system and for the workers in penitentiary system. And of course, for this moment, we have really Soviet Union prisons in Ukraine.
So bad conditions.
Bad conditions, bad attitude, and so on. And of course, the aim of the penitentiary system is the target is to resocialize the inmates. But it doesn't happen now.
Yeah. And what sort of results have you had so far in this reform process?
First of all, we had started the demilitarization, and for example, in the previous year it was approximately 80% of military people in penitentiary system, but for this moment is less than 30%.
Yeah.
Of course, we have to rebuild the medic system, the system of also probation, as I said previously.
Okay, so these are the actions that you're taking, but what about results? I mean, for example, what about the rate at which people commit crimes again? Has it gone down? I mean,
the reform started just previous year, and I can say that the month ago I was in Scotland. They started the reform 5 years ago, and the colleagues said to me, please come to us in 10 years and you will see the results.
So it's long-term, it's a long-term reform.
Of course, because we have to rebuild, for example, the buildings, and of course it will take a lot of time.
And what did you learn in Scotland? No, what was the advice that they gave to you?
Also probation. probation, and of course the targets of resocialization of inmates and so on and so on. And I can say about the results, I can say of results in juvenile probation. I can say that 400 juvenile was as subjects of the juvenile probation, and the rate of the second
when they commit crime again,
it's less than 2%. It's a super result, believe me.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's very interesting. And I wanted to ask you about prisons in occupied Donbas. Following Russia's invasion in 2014, there were many Ukrainian prisoners who one day found themselves in Ukrainian-controlled territory, and the next day found themselves in the occupied territory. What role does your ministry play in getting these prisoners back? Because are they your responsibility?
It's a responsibility of international department of the Ministry of Justice, and of course the Office of Ombudsman. And because of thanks to the cooperation of Ministry of Justice and the Office of Ombudsman, it's a big work have done. And for example, I can say that only of this area of Donbas and also of Crimea inmates. And for example, in this week we have work about the 11 inmates which will return to Ukraine from Crimea.
Do you know how many there are in total in Crimea and Donbas who are still...
For this moment, we don't have the information about the inmates in Crimea and also
because you don't have the records anymore.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Also, you know, I mean, what sort of strategy do you have to continue getting these people released from occupied Donbas and Crimea back into Ukrainian territory? Is there a better strategy that you're looking for, or will you just continue what you're doing now?
Our colleague and the Office of Ombudsman, they have the strategy about this task, and of course I can't say to you that the strategy, because it's a lot of talks, a lot of tasks inside this work.
Okay, so it's a big task ahead.
Yeah.
And the last year, I believe, the Ukrainian penitentiary service was dissolved. It doesn't exist anymore, and now it's been moved to the Justice Ministry. How effective was this done? Was this a smooth transition? Because there are stories in the media that certain money may have gone missing, or that it wasn't done efficiently enough. What's your view on this?
I can say that, of course, it wasn't smooth because it was a very old system, like an old oak, and of course it's not a flexible. And one of the tasks, as I said previously, about the demilitarization, of course, there were the guys, military guys, and they want the strong hand in orders, but we have to rebuild it. And of course, for this moment, it's very important to understand that we have to rebuild also the vision of the society and the vision of workers of penitentiary system. And they have not to be the military men. They have to be more psychologists than military.
So what sort of vision do you have then? What do you imagine the future Ukrainian prison service to look like then?
I can say that I have the dream.
What's your dream?
It looks like a Norwegian penitentiary system.
Well, like these videos you see on the internet where the... Okay.
Yeah, but it's for this moment it's just a dream. Okay.
And what are the main hurdles in obtaining this dream? What are the main challenges that lie ahead, do you think? In your opinion, in your daily work?
Just simple. First of all, to rebuild the buildings, because for this moment we have such a bad conditions in our prisons, and believe me, it's horrible.
Okay, that's the main aim.
Yeah.
Okay, Minister, thank you very much for joining us on UATV. That was Denis Chernyshov. He's the Deputy Justice Minister of Ukraine. You are watching UATV.